7:13 right now. Our Beyond the Rainbow series looks at one of Israel Kamakawiwo'ole's most important songs, Hawaii 78. Lacy, Deniz, and Billy V are here with how Iz's version was inspired back in the 1990s.
Yep.
Yeah. The song was originally written by Mickey Iwani and performed by Iz's former band, the Mga Sons of Ni'iho. But Iz had his own ideas on how it should sound.
We were granted special access to this secluded site high above Oahu, where Iz and producer John DeMillo crafted their take on the anthem. The place has a mystical feel to it, shrouded in clouds and native plants.
John DeMello pieced the song together on his computer using Israel's voice, clips from an old chanter, and a large collection of sampled Hawaiian instruments. And that single session led to a key contribution in Hawaiian music history.
I had a studio in Palihua, which is way out in Waianae, and it's 3,000 foot up in the mountains, up in the Waianae range. It's a very sacred spot, a very Hawaiian spot. It was late night. It was about 11:45 or so. One misty, cool night in Palihua. It was beautiful. It was chilly.
Just for a day, our king and queen would visit all these islands and saw everything. How would they feel about the changes of our land?
You could see the city, the lights going out all the way to Diamond Head, but every now and then it would just get hazed up and you would lose the city and it would just glow, the clouds would be glowing.
Could you just imagine if they were around and saw highways on the sacred grounds? How would they feel about this modern city life?
Well, the clouds started drifting through the house, and he's getting tired. It was 11:45, and he had his shirt off next to the fireplace right here, and he was just sitting there, like, you know, he's looking at the city, and it was beautiful. I looked up towards the end of the song, and he was just sitting there like this. I'm going, oh my gosh. And he was sobbing, and he said, where did that come from? I said, play it again. Rewind it, play it again. We played it 50 times if we played it once. And usually, as soon as it ended, he said, just play it again. I said, what do you want to do? You want to change it? He says, it's exactly what I want. Exactly. And I said, okay. You sure? He said, and that was the first time you heard Hawaii 78. And we sat on that mountaintop until a little after 3, listening to it and playing it, playing it, and playing it.
Continues on Sunrise tomorrow morning. We'll have more on the legacy of Iz by talking with those who knew him best. We also have something else that is in the works.
And I think his voice, I think mainly that's what separated him away from other musicians.
If something's going bad that day, it kind of takes me out of reality for a while.
Saturday, mark your calendar for the Hawaii News Now digital premiere of a special Beyond the Rainbow documentary. It streams on our HNN app and hawaiinewsnow.com at 7:30 in the evening. Be the first to see it. Again, it's Saturday at 7:30.
And by the way, Mountain Apple Company is honoring the 25th anniversary of Facing Future with some gifts for Iz fans. Enter to win at the Hawaii News Now Facebook page and by clicking on the link that says Beyond the Rainbow Giveaway.
I thought it'd be interesting to get your perspective on the song. I mean, Howard and I can sit here and appreciate it for being a great song, and even knowing the history and the struggle of Native Hawaiians. But you are Native Hawaiian, and Billy, you were a young man in the 1970s. You know, how important was this song?
You want to go first?
For me, I wasn't born in the 1970s, but it really goes to show how much of an impact his music has on all generations. I grew up listening to his music, and this song specifically, we always talk about our na'au, and I always feel like this song hits a soft spot deep in my na'au, and it makes me be proud to be Hawaiian. It makes me remember to stay rooted to my culture.
I remember hearing the original Hawaii 78 with the Makaha Sons of Ni'ihau, and then hearing this version. But I actually had been up to the mountaintop, up to the studios before. So to go up there, walk through that again, and then I kind of take it for granted because it's like a visit back to a comfortable place. But for Lacy, who had not been up there before or not heard a lot of the stories before, was just wow at everything. So kind of as we researched this and visited these special places, I got to relive this through her eyes, which was kind of a unique experience. And then I started to get excited about the fact that you're standing on that spot where Israel took the picture with the drum for the cover of Facing Future, looking out over the city.
Very cool. All right, thanks guys. 7:19, going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.